Hi folks, welcome back for another video on all things Sorare Contender. This is going to be a quick one. I'm heading on holiday tomorrow, so trying to get organised, but wanted to keep up the consistency of at least one video per week. So going to run through what I've been doing with my J-League winnings. Won about £400 last midweek. Have spent almost 3/4 of that on mostly more J-League players. I'm also going to quickly show you which players are on the watch list that I may purchase over the next couple of days. And I'll finish up with a couple of midweek lineups. I'll show you my entries for midweek. So getting straight into it, couple of purchases in the last 24 hours. Hasegawa, I was catching up on the highlights. I've watched every set of J-League highlights since the start of the season. And this guy, Hasegawa, has really caught my eye, and I was quite surprised by his price given his decisives in recent game weeks. As you can see there, of his last 6 appearances, he has scored 4 goals. Probably the team he plays for is the reason why his price is quite low, but midfielder card for under a tenner, scoring quite well. I don't have too many J-League midfielders, so it made sense to add a couple more. Another player who's caught my eye in the highlights is Kawahara at Kawasaki. Kawasaki have been really good so far this season. I quite like them and keen to get as many of their assets as I can. I've got a few more. He came in today for around £15, scored at the weekend, scored 81, and a couple of good scores going back over the last couple of weeks as well. Elsewhere, a non-J-League player, as you'll know from previous videos, I've been keen to get a couple of River Plate guys, Montiel being 1 and Armani being 2, and both of them are now in the gallery as in-season cards. Now, Montiel is an in-season La Liga card, so he's only got, until the end of May, maybe a little bit longer of in-season utility, but he was a lot cheaper than his River Plate cards. He's just back from injury. He should be back for this midweek, and feeling that he should be back ready to go for the weekend from my limited amount of research. As you can see there, start of the season, scoring extremely well, and we know all about this guy. Good to finally get him on board. Paid £24. I think there was an auction going for about £60 at one point today, and I just thought I'll get the in-season for 7 or 8 more games. Then maybe just use that as a classic, or then look to buy the River Plate version for hopefully a cheaper price. I picked up RI from Sanfrecce mainly as a collection piece to boost the likes of Sho Sasaki. I picked up Tanaka now as well, just to get them up to 2%. It's showing 1% here, but I'm pretty sure I've got them up to 2% now. One of them might be listed on the market. RI has scored in the most recent game. Might not play every game, but could end up being useful as well as being a collection piece. Picked up Sota Miura. Been very keen to get this guy for quite a while. Very attacking, left back, really good scorer, really good AA scorer as much as anything else. So good to have another Kawasaki guy in there as well. Going further down this list, you will see, there's Tanaka. He hasn't been scoring very well at Sanfrecce since he moved there, but this is a highly rated young player with lots of potential and scored very well at his previous club. So able to pick him up. What price did I pay? £31 in auction. So obviously that boosts the collection score as well, given it's bought directly from Sorare. So hopefully he can turn the corner and start putting in some good scores. Got him listed there, again, for a price I don't think he'll sell for. I'm planning to use him this upcoming game week. There's Franco Armani. Spoke about him in a couple of videos back, how, I felt like my contender goalkeepers were maybe not as strong as they could be, and that I was willing to go out and pay £100 for Armani and just have him all season. He becomes my number 1 goalkeeper and is very often in my priority lineup, as long as River have a decent matchup, and he's absolutely smashing it. So that was one of the first things I did with the J-League winnings, was go and get Armani. It was a good opportunity to do so. Paid £105, and that season runs, I think, until November, maybe even December. So plenty of time to get value from him. Who knows if he'll play the following season, but I don't care about that. Hopefully he wins us rewards in the meantime. Taki Banada, another good midfielder from Kawasaki, picked him up for £11. He impressed me in the most recent game week, or maybe it was 2 game weeks back, because he might have picked up an injury now, which is bad timing on the signing, but hopefully it's not too serious. Marius Broholm, I'm quite keen to get an in-season Broholm from Rosenborg. They've just started the season. I think they've only played 2 games. I had Broholm last season. Very highly rated young player. Can score very well. Just spotted one of his classic cards on the market for a price I was happy with, £21. Might end up using him, might not. Got him on the market, but certainly want to add an in-season version, but just want to have him as an option as well to use in lineups. The first signing I made after getting the winnings was Bojanic. He's injured at the moment, which has seen his price dip a little bit. This guy was going for a lot more a couple of weeks ago. He's been on the watch list. I think he's pretty close to being back in action. There it is, all green scores on the chart so far this season. When he's played, I picked him up for £59, which I think is about as cheap as he has been this current season. Takes all the set pieces, plays for Ulsan, really good team in the K-League, and most importantly a midfielder, because probably goalkeepers and midfielders is where I'm a little bit weaker. I've got plenty of defenders and plenty of forwards. A couple of collection pieces down here just to boost collection scores recently. Picked up the Vissel Kobe goalkeeper and his backup to go along with, I've got Tuller and I've got Sakai. Yamami's looking good in the J-League, but he's on the bench a lot, but hopefully that changes and he gets more starts. Wakizaka, as you know, beat me to first place in that J-League competition. So I picked up a classic card and I plan to use that in future game weeks. You'll see there at the bottom of the screen, I've currently got an offer in on Iraqi, another Sanfrecce defender, scored at the weekend, good scorer on the platform in certain game weeks as well. So looking to add him so that I can play Sasaki and Iraqi. And I might end up adding the Sanfrecce goalkeeper as well, although he doesn't score fantastically well. Very quick look at the watch list. This is where the rest of the winnings might be spent. And there's a lot of J-League cards here. I'm fully invested in the J-League at the moment because, it is that time of the season. And I just find myself really enjoying watching the highlights. And I've even caught a few games on YouTube. They usually show 1 or 2 games, free to view on YouTube over the weekend as well, which is quite useful. Shofukuda there in the middle. I've got his teammate Akito Suzuki, the other striker at Shonan. He's another very good young player and scores well. Sota Kitano has impressed me watching the highlights as well at Osaka. Erison, again, I'm quite keen on Kawasaki. Erison has looked good. He doesn't always start games, but he's got decent scores in him, as you can see there. So keeping an eye to see if he's in the predicted lineup midweek. And he's not too expensive at the moment. I think he's going for about 20 quid in season. So I'm probably going to end up picking up one of those. His teammate Marcinho is there as well. Might end up going there. Rafael Elias at Kyoto Sanga. I think he got a hat-trick at the weekend, didn't he? Yeah, 84. Pretty sure he got a hat-trick against Kashima in that 4-3 victory. He's got another 80 score there, going back a little bit. So picks up a little bit of AA. Always nice to see a forward with a 100 score. Decisive 90. So he must have got, 4 attacking returns in that game. Scoring, what did they score? 5 goals. So yeah, he is looking good, but as you would expect, he's expensive now after the hat-trick. Leo Chiara at Kashima. I had his classic card and I've just sold it. Maybe a mistake. Scored another, I think he scored twice at the weekend. Really good player. Scored loads of goals last season at a previous club. And I sold his classic card because I want to get his in-season. Decides to score 70 at the weekend and AA 17. I like these 87s, 94s, 82s when it comes to forward. So I'm quite keen, like I say, to get an in-season. 55 quid is the only one on the market, and it's Ethereum. I don't have any Ethereum in the wallet at the moment, so going to have to be patient on that one. Elsewhere, Shunta Tanaka is having a pretty good season. Defensive midfielder. Rafael Ratau, another forward option. Felipe plays in the Chinese Super League. I've only really come across him recently. Really good scores here, but again, pricey. Only one in the market, £59, and of course it's a classic card. He doesn't have any in season, so not in a mad rush to go there. Marcos Rojo at Boca. He was an injury doubt, but he did play. But he's still a little bit on the pricey side. His only in seasons available are instant buy, 75. So again, just going to be patient on him. And then just a couple of other classics there. I think those guys are in Brazil. Yuri Alberto, Santiago Sosa. Sosa's a really annoying one. I've seen Laird moaning about this as well. They haven't auctioned many of his rares. He only has he doesn't even have. He's only got, 7? There's only 7 rares for some reason. His one-of's on the market for 68. The instant buys are 71. Yeah, I don't really know why there's only been 7 so far. And he's a player I've wanted for ages, but I don't want his classic midfielder card. I want his in-season defender card. Not scoring fantastically well, but certainly potential there. Got an 88 recently. But yeah, come on, Sorare, get more of these on the market. Bruno Lamas, along with Cecina. I've got a classic Cecina. Keeping an eye on the price of Lamas. Hopefully it comes down. Likewise, James Rodriguez, none on the market at the moment. And I was quite close to getting an Anderson Oliveira in an auction a couple of days ago. But I lost out to Soul Rangers of all account names. I think I bid 37 and they got him for 40. I probably should have just went and put in one more bid, but I was driving at the time, so safety first and all that. I had to just let that auction pass by, but one I'll go back to maybe when the next auction drops. So that's the guys I'm keeping an eye on in terms of auctions and keeping an eye on the prices on the market, secondary markets. In terms of midweek, I have a couple of lineups. The weekend was a disaster, not winning any cash. Don't think I'm winning any cards. So I went from the highs of midweek to the lows of the weekend, but hopefully we're back with rewards midweek and this upcoming weekend. Can you see those? Yeah, so 2 classic all-star teams for midweek. The first one there has Casio, Brian Ramirez captain, who's got quite a high projection on Sorare probabilities, and I think he's highly rated on Sorare data as well. Juan Bernetza, Anderson Lopez. Might end up switching Anderson Lopez out because he didn't play the last game. Possibly illness, but I'm not 100% sure. I think he has been critical of the tactics of manager Steve Holland, so not really keen on putting him in if there could be a little bit of a rift there possibly with the manager, but I'll keep an eye on the projections closer to the deadline. Piovi's probably going to go into that team as well. And in the other team, the River Boys will make their debut. Mainly just to gain some XP, but you never know. They might put up a big score. So Armani, I'm going to captain Montiel. He might not play, but this is a classic all-star team. I'm not too worried about how it does. Yeah, I'll captain him as maybe a bit of a differential because most others probably won't captain him. Although Sorare Data have a 90% projection here. Cecina, slight doubt about his minutes, but hopefully he gets a start. Jesus Angulo and that man Wakizaka. A couple of limited teams as well. One of them is a Tigre stack with Cecina thrown in up front, Jesus Angulo captain, and then the other one is a limited team as well, but it's all rare cards. Miura goes in there again, just get some XP, but some other good players in there also, and I'm going to captain Javier Aquino in that one. So I will leave it there, folks, for this video. Like I say, I don't have as much time this week as I usually would. Off to France for a week, hopefully win some rewards while I'm there. I was having a look at the map. I'm staying at close to Nice and not a million miles away from Marseille. And I didn't look at Marseille fixtures or Nice fixtures. I looked at the French League 2 fixtures to see if there was any games nearby, any of my Sorare cards in action. I think the closest one is Metz are away to, is it Martigues or one of those, which is quite near Marseille. but I think it is 2.5 hour journey, so I don't think I'm going to drive 2.5 hours to see Captain Gautier Hein, but you never know. I might take an ocean and go on a little Sorare adventure. If I captain him, I might just have to go and do that. So have a good midweek, folks. Have a good weekend, game week when it comes. And hopefully I will be back next week talking about some big rewards, mainly thanks to these J-League guys. Talk to you soon.